With a thriving population of 26 million in the 1800s, the elephant population has dropped to a mere million. It wasn't till 1989 that worldwide ivory sales were banned, leading to a rebound in their numbers. Despite this rebound, the elephant population remains critically endangered in many parts of Africa. The areas that do have a thriving elephant population, such as South Africa or Zimbabwe, are now facing a new man-made threat to their survival. With the ever-growing human population expanding into previously uninhabited areas, destroying the generations-old migration paths and natural environments in which the elephants used to thrive, our beloved elephants are running out of habitable land. But without enough landmass to support the elephants' growing numbers, there is negative impact to the vegetation and other wildlife. Elephants play a vital role in maintaining the biodiversity of Africa's ecosystem. One solution that's already been put into place is herd relocation. Relocation to wildlife reserves, such as the one we're at today.
The elephants at Scotia originated from the Kruger Park. They were brought down to Shamwari, which is a private reserve not far from us. From there, a small part of that herd was relocated to the Bushman Sands Reserve, where the conditions were very poor. One of the important things about relocating elephants as a family is that you move the whole family together. And the bringing of the elephants to Scotia was almost a bit of a rescue mission. 6 elephants were relocated in March of 2012.
Herd relocation is not always successful. Because the herd must stay together, the size of the herd will often determine if relocation is possible. When a herd is relocated, generations of herd knowledge passed down through the matriarch is lost. This lost knowledge can cause herd anxiety and aggression. In some cases, the herd never fully settles into their new location, escaping and trying to return to its previous home. But despite these challenges, Scotia Private Game Reserve has managed to successfully relocate a herd of elephants.
One of the reasons that the relocation here was very successful was that they were coming from a very poor area with a lack of vegetation and very rocky and stony and so on, to an absolutely fantastic area here at Scotia. We have in this area thicket vegetation, which has the highest feeding value of any vegetation in the country. We also are located on a series of old sand dunes, which means that underfoot the elephants love it because it's pure sand dune, and there are no rocks and so on to worry them. So water is very good in this area. So bringing them in here changed their behavior completely, simply because the conditions were so good when they arrived.
Even though the relocation and transition was successful with the majority of the herd happy and healthy, challenges did arise. One of those challenges was with Obos, the dominant bull. Known for opening gates and breakouts prior to arriving at Scotia, Obos would eventually resume his old habits at his new home, causing damage to the reserve and the surrounding farmlands. The surrounding farmers were concerned that he would pose a threat to their livestock. After too many breakouts, Scotia had to make the difficult decision on the dominant male elephant's future. After much deliberation, it was decided they would have to cull the bull. The second challenge was learning how to keep the elephants in harmony with the land. This was something Scotia wished they'd had prior knowledge of. Damage was done to some of the older Scotia trees. Throughout the years, many different tactics have been implemented to protect the trees. One of the most recent and effective methods was to introduce beehives to the base of the tree, further reinforced with surrounding electrical wire. The third ongoing challenge has been carrying capacity. With the herd thriving in their newfound home, they have grown from 6 to 13 members in just over 10 years. As with any animal population, it is vital that the land can support the growing numbers. While the current land can support 10 elephants, the recent purchase of another 2,200 hectares will allow the reserve to properly support up to 20 adult elephants. This new land will have many benefits to the herd, and in return, the elephants will benefit the land by helping remove the invasive prickly pear cacti that was brought in by the early settlers of the Eastern Cape. While a solution has been found to support the herd's growing numbers, this solution is only temporary. Once the herd reaches 20 members, new solutions will have to be sought.
Well, too many elephants on any piece of land will lead to effectively deforestation, which means that they break down the vegetation and reduce the carrying capacity of an area. That not only affects the elephants, it affects every other animal that's on the same reserve. We will probably have to start instituting a system of contraception such as they have in Addo Park and that they're trying in Kruger as well. We need to slow down the breeding of elephants in the whole of South Africa. Actually, we have an overload of elephants in South Africa and no place to really put them. So they've run a pilot program in Addo, and we'll take those results and possibly institute that here.
Though the reserves have helped save many species from certain extinction, is the land that's been set aside and earmarked for expansion enough to sustain the elephant numbers? Are there ethical concerns that should be considered when relocating herds from century-old homes, especially if relocation will not prevent their numbers from being controlled through culling or forced sterilization? And while there are initiatives such as the Eden to Addo Corridor and Karoo Corridor projects intended to open up a combined 386,000 hectares of new migration paths for wildlife, are we doing enough? This may be the tip of the iceberg. Join me on future endeavors as I continue to explore controversial conservation topics across Africa.